Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Riska. Can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski?
Here.
Mrs. Kosky?
Present.
Mr. Radke?
Present.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yannon?
Here.
Mrs. Yearko?
Present.
Council, we need approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Kosky.
move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda tonight is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start by discussing a couple of legislative matters and then introduce a special guest that is with us this evening as well. First, as you know, our city team collaborates with our state legislative team on a regular basis, and we've enjoyed a solid track record in Sterling Heights of bipartisan support from our representatives representing our city. This was evident once again last week when the mayor, our economic development advisor, and I met in Lansing with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, better known as MEDC, Executive Director Quentin Messer, along with our entire Macomb County legislative team. The purpose of the meeting was to emphasize the importance of the defense industry to Sterling Heights and the surrounding area. By way of example, over $6 billion of defense spending occurs in Macomb County every single year, with a significant portion of that amount right here in Sterling Heights. When you think of the defense corridor throughout our community and General Dynamics Land Systems and BAE and DC3S and Ron Mattel and so many other defense companies in our city, the impact they have and all their suppliers and subsidiaries in Sterling Heights is really significant. Some critical defense-related decisions will be made in the ensuing months, and it's important that Sterling Heights be at the table, and we're certainly well positioned to play a significant role. So there's much more to come on this, but with the help of our legislative team at the state level, we're going to keep pushing to protect and grow the defense sector in Sterling Heights and throughout Macomb County. And on another state matter today, the governor signed into law House Bill 4084, which eliminates a very cumbersome process requiring our small businesses to file paperwork to qualify for the personal property tax exemption, which they've been getting for many years. Two long-standing businesses in the city unfortunately missed this obscure filing deadline, which would have cost them collectively $1.2 million and could have put their operations in jeopardy. The city, namely our Chief Financial Officer, Jennifer Varney, who's with us this evening, and you're going to hear from her a little later, worked with our state legislative team to resolve the matter, not only for Sterling Heights, but statewide. Ms. Varney attended the bill signing ceremony today with the governor, recognizing the city's good work. Sterling Heights was the only city at the bill signing ceremony today of all the cities statewide, so we're pretty proud of that fact. And I wanted to recognize our Representative Nate Shannon, who sponsored the bill, and also Representative Tom Kuhn, who you're going to hear from shortly, who also supported the bill. Periodically, our state legislators appear at our city council meetings to provide us an update on the projects they're working on our behalf. And with us this evening, representing District 57, is Representative Tom Kuhn. And I'd like to introduce him because he would like to take a few minutes and address the mayor and the city council.
Thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. And thank you, Mayor Taylor and City Council members. Appreciate the opportunity to be working with you to move the city of Sterling Heights forward and make it as great a city as it can be. I actually was here to thank you for taking the lead on this Michigan Defense Center project. It is such an important thing that this city took the lead and got all the groups together, all the representatives, both Republican and Democratic throughout Macomb, and made it an important issue. We need to get the Defense Center issue moving forward, and it wasn't moving forward until this city took the initiative and took the lead and made it happen. So I am extremely appreciative of everything you are doing. Having served 28 years at the local level, I know how open and transparent local government is. Unfortunately, I've had quite a shock being up at the state legislature where it is not open and it is not transparent. And I've been working on a number of bills that deal with openness and transparency. And, you know, I've had again, as in many things, I've had a lot of feedback from the city officials here on issues. We're working on a Freedom of Information Act bill that would include the governor and the legislature. They need to be subject to Freedom of Information Act. And in working with many of the suggestions made by the city to improve the Freedom of Information Act. And hopefully we'll be coming forward with that bill in the next month or so. We have another bill that requires openness and transparency in appropriation. You know, I know how thoroughly you guys go over budgets and how openly and the public knows about it. Up there in Lansing, everything's done secretly, and that needs to stop. And so I have a bill that we introduced earlier in the year that specifically addressed that issue and requires that, that major appropriations, $82 billion this year was our appropriation. Legislators, people, cities, universities, everyone gets an opportunity to see it before it's voted on, and that's not happening now. So, again, I appreciate your allowing me a few minutes, and again, appreciate everything the city does and their feedback and responsiveness on so many different issues that we face up in the state legislature. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you, Representative Kuhn. And Mayor, moving on to the next item, as you know, city administration, along with city council's support, we've been hard at work on scouring everywhere for grant funding, both at the federal level, the state level, and from other resources as well. And we've been able to successfully, over the years, obtain tens of millions of dollars just recently in numerous grants. A couple of noteworthy grants include the $10 million forthcoming grant for the Clinton River Road Corridor Project, which will vastly improve and transform Clinton River Road between Hayes and North Van Dyke. We also have an outstanding grant application for North Van Dyke, which is a $26 million project. As you know, on Mound Road, we successfully obtained a $100 million grant at the federal level, the largest grant of its size that went to a local agency in the United States. And this evening, we're pleased to announce another really exciting grant that is going to improve the wellness of the community. And at this point, I would like to introduce our Sergeant Aaron Susala, who's going to lead this presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. No, it's not up there yet. Perfect.
There we go.
Yes, I'm Sergeant Aaron Susala on behalf of the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition. So our coalition, we work to educate, collaborate, and advocate to create an environment that's safe from substance abuse and misuse. We envision a community that works together to reduce youth substance use, and we are part of the solution around this substance misuse. I'd like to introduce you the executive board, who, I don't think Karen is here today, but we have Karen Otto, who is our treasurer. Oh, there you go.
Karen's there, yeah.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. Maria Giannani, who is our secretary, and she also works as one of our sector representatives. Mark Kazubski, sitting behind the bench there. He is our coalition chair, and he's a business representative. And myself, the coalition chair. We're also going to use this time to identify our sector representatives. So we had to identify sector representatives in order to obtain this grant. The Sterling Heights Television, they are our media representative. I'll thank you for that. Warren Consolidated Schools, they're our school representative. Care of Southeast Michigan, they're our youth serving representative. Christ Lutheran Church of Sterling Heights, they're our religious representative. The Sterling Heights Police Department and Chief Wojciechowski, law enforcement representative. Community Emergency Response Team, they're our volunteer group representative. The Dynamic Healthcare, our healthcare professional representative. Macomb County Health Department, they're our local government agency with expertise in substance abuse representative. O'Reilly Rancilio PC, our business representative. Families Against Narcotics, they work as our other form of representative. James Sarconi, they're our parent representative. And our youth sector is currently vacant, but we've been working with our youth advisory board to fill that position. And I'd also like to say thank you to all the council members for being there supporting this coalition and your continued support. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't without your support, so thank you for that. Now, our project coordinator, who we were able to obtain because of this grant, Elizabeth. Elizabeth?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Taylor, City Manager Mr. Vanderpool, and council members. My name is Elizabeth Capolo. I am an employee with Care of Southeastern Michigan, but I was afforded the opportunity to join the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition because of this grant as their project coordinator. I'd also like to introduce Kayla Dadswell. Kayla is the Director of Substance Use Prevention Services at Care of Southeastern Michigan, and Dominique Schroeder, who's not here tonight, but she is the Chief Program Officer at Care of Southeastern Michigan. Now the exciting stuff, the grant itself. Care of Southeastern Michigan, in partnership with the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition, was awarded the Drug Free Communities Support Program grant from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. This grant totals over $600,000 over the next 5 years. So to break that down a little further, the coalition will be provided with $125,000 per year. The purpose of the Drug Free Community Support Program grant is to support coalitions like the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition, whose mission is to reduce youth substance use. Oh, something else exciting to note is that the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition is the second coalition in Macomb County to be awarded this grant, so it's a really big and exciting achievement. The grant comes with two goals. The first goal is to increase capacity by establishing and strengthening collaboration among community stakeholders to address youth substance use. And the second goal is to reduce youth substance use and over time reduce adult substance use by addressing the risk factors that can cause substance use and promote the protective factors that minimize substance use. Next, I want to take a few moments just to highlight all of the great things that the coalition has been doing already. First are some photos from Red Ribbon Week. Red Ribbon Week is the largest substance use prevention campaign in the United States. So you can see some photos from education tables, activities that the Sterling Heights Drug Free Coalition did during Red Ribbon Week at different Sterling Heights high schools. This slide shows Black Balloon Day. Black Balloon Day is an event that lets us honor those that we lost as a result of a drug overdose or drug-related death. And next we have tobacco vendor checks. During tobacco vendor checks, youth will be accompanied by a police officer or a substance use prevention professional to check compliance at tobacco retailers, things like being ID'd and if they have the appropriate signage. Next, I just want to highlight some things coming up in Sterling Heights that you can see us at, and especially I want to highlight our last two events, Black Balloon Day and DEA Drug Take Back Day. We're gearing up for a really exciting spring for the coalition. Lastly, where to find us. If anybody here, or if this is live streamed at home, is not a member, we would love for you to join us. The QR code you can scan and it'll take you to our membership form. You can also keep up with us on our Facebook page that has links to our membership form, our email, and our calendar. And we'd also love to see new faces at our meetings. We meet the second Monday of every month at 5:30 p.m. at the Sterling Heights Police Department in the upper level conference room. And our next meeting is January 8th, so we hope to see you all there. Before I leave, I have an exciting check to present the coalition. So I would love to do that, and I would also love to invite the council members down for a quick photo, if we can do that.
I'm gonna find a better place. Oh, it's a fucking table. We gotta have, like I said, better plan, like, I'm counting on you, you're the man. It's like me. I got a good story about that.
Again, we just would thank all the council members for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
And thank you. And Mayor, I just have one last item on my report this evening. Everyone knows during the road construction season, needless to say, it's really hard to get around the city. Everyone gets frustrated. But when the projects are done, and they're all done now, everyone's happy, and I'm sure you're enjoying being able to move around the city without all sorts of backups and congestion and so on. With us this evening is our city engineer, Brent Bayshaw, who's going to give us a quick update on many projects that were completed this summer and a couple that we have to look forward to for next year.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vanderpool, and good evening, Mayor Taylor, members of council, Mr. Koszubski, and everyone in the audience. Yes, first of all, thank you for all your patience. I know a lot of complaints are, what are you guys doing? You're constructing every road at once, but we do put a lot of thought into it, and we really do try to coordinate these projects. There just happens to be a lot of them. To get going here, 2003 was a busy and successful year for road construction in Sterling Heights. The project started early and with the continuation of the Mound Road reconstruction project. Aside from that mega project, we had an additional 8 major road projects that were constructed in 2023. The first 2023 project kicked off on April 10th, and the road construction continues as we speak as the season winds down. Along with the major road projects, 35 local road reconstructions were completed. The vast majority of these were constructed as part of the Safe Streets initiative, and I'd like to start here. So 17 local roads were fully reconstructed within the annual local road reconstruction program. A few of these examples are like Sprucewood, which is shown here. Sprucewood's located in the southwest portion of the city. Waltham Drive was shown here, was also reconstructed. And another example would be Kristen Drive. And Kristen Drive was a long, windy road. It had construction challenges, but as you can see, it turned out very nice. Another program we do annually is our sectional repair program for local roads. 18 roads were improved with this program. And a few examples include Jocelyn Drive, which is shown here. English Drive, which is another program, and we added this street to the program during the mid-year with a change order. And a section of Farmdale was completed, which connects two previously improved pavements that were done with Safe Streets. I'd like to now move on to our major road projects, and 14 Mile Road was one of the first projects right out of the gate. The project began May 1st and was completed on September 21st. The project provided new asphalt surface, replaced much of the curbing and the local road approaches to the Mile Road. The project included two major road intersections, Shana Road and Maple Lane Road. And in the end, we resurfaced over 2 miles of poor pavement. Shana Road resurfacing was a project that started early in the season as well, April 27th. The project was completed a multi-year plan to resurface Shana Road from 15 Mile Road to M59. The project provided a new asphalt surface as well with some curb replacement. Beginning mid-June was a concrete repair project on Metro Parkway between Dodge Park and Shaner. This project repaired the failed pavement through concrete replacement and provides better rideability of the road and dramatically lessens the cold patch operations forthcoming. So the project was completed in short order, approximately 6 weeks. The reconstruction of Plumbrook Road began on April 10th. It was staged and phased to lessen the construction effect on traffic for the schools on the route and our annual community events. The project included a new full-depth asphalt pavement on the 2.3 miles of roadway. The project also included safety improvements such as this reconfiguration of Plumbrook Road and Utica Road intersection. And the project included significant sidewalk construction as well, over 3,500 linear feet of sidewalk. The project also included tree plantings, and we planted 301 trees along this route. Now, the project does have upcoming work, which includes the 17 Mile Road and Plumbrook Road signal upgrade to mast arms, which will be done shortly. It's tentatively scheduled to start in a week or two. There will be supplemental street lighting and the opening of the bike lanes in the spring. The resurfacing of Metro Parkway between Mound and Ryan began on July 24th. It was completed on November 16th. The project provided new asphalt surface, new curbing, and new concrete approaches. This project tied into the resurfacing project that was completed in 2022 on Metro Parkway between DeQuinta and Ryan, and it also ties into the new Mound Road pavement. Still going, Ryan Road between Metro Parkway and 18 Mile Road was resurfaced this fall as well. The project started on April 14th and was open to traffic on November 14th. The project included 2 miles of asphalt resurfacing, curb repairs, concrete approach replacement, and additionally, the last of the sidewalk gaps along this stretch were filled in with sidewalk construction. The last project to commence in 2023 was the Maple Lane project. It was scheduled to start after the 14 Mile Road project was completed for ease of traffic control. The project included pulverizing the existing asphalt base, repurposing it as a road base, and providing a new asphalt roadway. The project also included installing sidewalk to complete the gaps on the east side of Mound Road. And in the spring, the turf restoration and planting of approximately 90 new trees will be completed. Lastly, the Innovate Mound project continued this year. It's in its second year of construction. In Sterling Heights in 2023, all the roadway pavement was completed. The entire median has been graded and put to grade. And the landscaping north of Metro Parkway has made great progress. The landscaping will continue until December 15th. Weather permitting, and anything not completed in this stretch will be done in the spring. In 2024, work will continue in Sterling Heights well, they'll be setting the new galvanized steel poles by DTE on the east side of the right-of-way. These new poles will house all the utility lines. They'll be transferred, and all the old wooden poles in the corridor will be removed. This will make way for the pathway on the west side of Mound Road. That will be completed next year as well. And the median landscaping south of Metro Parkway will be completed next year as well. So it's also worth knowing, obviously, this project goes down to 696 in Warren. So I know people will have some interest in what's happening down there as well as we commute through there. All the paving will be done this year. They have up until December 20th to complete it, and they're on track for that. So all the roadway pavement will be done this year. There is a culvert that needs to be worked on this winter, starting in January for about 2 months, that will take traffic down to 2 lanes in each direction starting in January, but that's south of 12 Mile. So just so you know it's coming. So some touch points for our 2023 road construction projects, 9 major road projects and 35 local road projects, for a total investment of $71.3 million. And lastly, stay up to date through our city cone zone for project updates as we move to 2024. 2024, just to give you a heads up, we will be reconstructing the 17-mile road bridge over Plum Brook, which is just east of Van Dyke. That will start shortly. We actually already awarded the project. We have a progress meeting coming up. The 17-mile road will have to be closed for 3 to 4 months at some point during the year. I don't have that date yet. And that's east of Van Dyke. And then Moravian will be a big project next year as well. So this concludes my presentation, and thank you for your time.
And Mayor, I do not have anything else on my report this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Appreciate you being here tonight, Brent, for that update. That's all great information, and I know for the past 10 years, we've been really making a heck of a lot of progress on our roads. I want to thank Representative Kuhn for being here as well. You know, we've been lucky to have state representatives and other representatives at the county and federal level who are very accessible to our residents. And, you know, you talked about the efforts you're making at transparency. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you being here tonight. Tom sends me updates regularly on what's going on in Lansing, and I certainly appreciate that, and I know our residents do as well. So thank you for being here, Representative Kuhn. And to Aaron and Elizabeth Cupola, thank you for the presentation tonight. That's really incredible news. So great job by everyone. Great presentations tonight, and we have another great presentation coming up right now. So at this time, I'll welcome up our police chief to the podium. Tonight we have a swearing-in ceremony for new Sterling Heights police officers. As I said, we have a presentation from our police chief, Dale Dwojakowski. Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor Taylor, members of council, Mr. Vanderpool. Another great night. It feels like I've been up here 1,000 times doing this. And every time I tell you we're back to full staffing, and then people retire. So it's a never-ending revolving door for hiring. And as you know, again, not sound like a broken record, hiring police officers in the state of Michigan is very, very difficult. A lot of departments are getting 0 applicants. Our police academy in Macomb County normally houses about 42 to 45 students. The last session, 21 kids graduated. So the pipeline is narrower. Less people are coming into the occupation, which means we are all fighting for the same number of candidates across the entire state. I'm very involved in our local police chiefs organization, and we meet regularly, and I talk to their chiefs. You can see the frustration on their face when they cannot find people to hire. And I don't think I did them any favors, because all 5 of these officers came from another department. And I had so a couple chiefs called me, and they were not happy with what we did. But Sterling Heights has gained. So tonight, I'd like to welcome our newest additions. These guys and girls started yesterday, so they are all of 1 day on the job, and all 5 of them have extensive experience. And we have 2 more hires coming up in January, possibly 3. So we'll be on our way to 8 hires here in the next month. So we're so excited to have them on board. And not only just 5 bodies, 5 unbelievable police officers here with a resume that is truly stellar. It seems like every year when we have a hiring list, I say, can't do much better. And yet, here we are with the experience that all 5 of these officers have. We've done better. Starting from my left, John Mark Branch. His name is John Mark, by the way. Not John, not Mark, it's John Mark. I had to clarify that with him. Or JM, he said. He is a 23-year veteran of the University of Michigan Police Department, and he was a sergeant there. On their tactical team, and they were not happy to lose this guy. We heard it from multiple people. So he made a big decision to come here to Sterling Heights, and his resume is extensive. Is to his right here, Max Eckhout from the Roseville Police Department, 8 years with Roseville, and I'm very good friends with the Roseville Police Chief, now city manager. When he found out we were taking Max, not happy, he called me about this, and I had to confirm, yes, we are hiring Max. I try to keep it a secret as long as possible, Max. Then we have Danny Deli, 3 years with the Dearborn Heights Police Department, leading with arrests and tickets. Your command staff there spoke very highly of your road work and what you were doing out there, so we're so excited to get you on the road here in Sterling Heights. And then we have Erin Loomis, 3 years with the Lake Orion Police Department, and she might have a sister that works in the city manager's office.
Allegedly.
Yes, so we're so excited to have Erin on board, and she's already family. She doesn't even know it yet. And then Kelly Dupuis, she has 7 years just recently with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office working on old CSC cases. It was a big part of your work, but 15 years as a police officer. So the experience is really stellar. We are so happy to have all of them on board, and we thank you for making the decision to leave your department and come here to Sterling Heights and start something brand new, and I'm very grateful as the police chief, so welcome aboard. So with that, I'm going to have you raise your right hand, we'll swear you guys in. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And that of the state of Michigan. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer. In and for the city of Sterling Heights. And that I will strive to maintain the highest standards of that department. To the best of my knowledge and ability. Congratulations. With that, John, Mark, the floor is yours. If you want to say a few words, come on over.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you to the mayor, city manager, and city council members. I'm super excited to join the team here, and I'm looking forward to a long, successful career serving the community members of the city of Sterling Heights and being a member of the Sterling Heights Police Department. Here tonight with me to support is my beautiful wife, Elizabeth, my beautiful daughter, Ruby, and my handsome little son over there, Remington. They're super excited for me to be closer to home as well. I went from an hour and about a 10-minute commute to a 23-minute commute, which is really good, and I'm just super excited, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chief. City Manager Vanderpool, Mayor Taylor, and City Council, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for everybody that was involved in the hiring process. Thank you for allowing me and my family to come here and serve the community. With me tonight are my parents, Steve and Dana, my wife, Michelle, my 4-month-old son, Avery.
Looking good.
And my in-law, Sue and Al. So thank you guys for continuing to support me in my law enforcement career, and I'm very excited to start here. So thank you.
I just want to thank the chief. I want to thank the mayor and the city manager and the rest of the city council members. My name is Danny. I'm 25. With me is my dad, my brother, my mom, my best friend, Isho, and my sister. I don't know where she went. I want to thank you all for having me. Can't wait to start, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mayor Taylor and Mr. Vanderpool and the rest of the council members. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm very excited. This is my dream department to be at. With me tonight, I have my parents, my sister Megan, who works here, both my daughters, Leah and Shelby, and then I also have back here is my old partner from my last department and his family as well. I want to thank everybody for being here to support me. Super excited, and I can't wait for all the opportunities here, so thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be a police officer for the city of Sterling Heights. I look forward to meeting and working with everyone, and I look forward to serving this community.
Thank you. Anything else, Chief?
That's it.
Okay.
By
Well,
the
that's a
way,
lot.
Danny did not say he is Chaldean, if you did not bring this up. So, I know it doesn't look like it, but when I first saw him, he told me it's Chaldean. I'm like, "You're Chaldean?" And he said, "Yeah, I know, I'm Chaldean." So, just for the record.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chief. We appreciate that. Council, any comments? Mrs. Sarowski?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Taylor. So I always like to welcome all the new police officers, primarily because I come from a law enforcement family. My husband is a judge here in town, Judge Sarowski. My son Patrick is a prosecutor, and my son Tony is law enforcement in the Marine Corps. He's a specialist in security, and one of these days I'll be able to tell you exactly what his new job is, but I can't tell anybody that yet because they'll have to shoot me. So, but yes, I want to welcome you on behalf of myself and my family, because I know law enforcement it's the heart and soul of our city in a way, and so is our, public safety is what keeps everyone feeling so safe in our city. We are very proud to be such a safe city, and we're very proud to have you all here. Glad that you're here. I'm sorry we had to poach you all from all the different departments in a way, but not so sad. So welcome, and as the latest officer said, I do look forward to meeting all of you personally, and I'm very happy to have you all here. So thank you again and welcome for being here. You're welcome.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Thank you. I want to echo Mrs. Sarowski. Welcome to the family. And you're going to learn that real quick, that we are a family here in Sterling Heights, and the community supports you 100%. It's really important, I'm sure, from your perspective to know that. They give us the tools for you to do your job to the best of your ability. And all I ask is that you all stay safe out there. And thank you for everything.
Mr. Radke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief, I have to commend you. You keep coming up with the best candidates. And it's really a testament to the recruiting team, all that you guys do. You guys turn over every rock in the state and you find the best candidates. That's why they're so mad at us, because we have the best department in the state. To all of you, I want to welcome you to the city of Sterling Heights. I am so proud of your resumes, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job. We have high expectations here, and I'm sure you're all going to meet them. And because of those high expectations, the community is going to be 100% behind you. We will give you the things that you need to succeed, but we're going to expect a lot from you. And I think that if you've talked to the chief, you talk to the guys who already work here, the guys and women who already work here, they're going to tell you that we give them what they need, but they are appreciated by the community, but the expectation is super sky high. So I want you guys to stay safe out there. I want you to do your jobs with honor and integrity, and I'm sure you're going to be here a long, long time. You're going to have a great job. And so I'm proud to have you here, and thank you so much.
Mrs. Kosky?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to say welcome to all of you. Thank you for choosing Sterling Heights. I know that you're going to be very happy here because we're a good city. And you will have the support of this council. We believe in making sure that you have the proper equipment to keep yourself safe so that you can keep us safe. And I'm so pleased to see that we have 2 more female officers. So welcome. Thank you for choosing us. Have a very safe career and know that we have your back. Thank you.
Oh, you want to go last? Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. Glad that you chose Sterling Heights. like we drafted you, but that's okay. But I did get rid, Chief, you're doing a great job, but I got a call this week from New Jersey asking me if we were using a workforce housing as an incentive for recruitment and retention. And now that, I hear the cities that this group is coming from, did you have to use that as an incentive in order to get them here? Okay. So you're going to love Sterling Heights. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to have a career. And we are, and we don't say this enough, is that we are family. And if you need anything from us, just reach out and we'd be happy to help you. But before we leave here, we mentioned that Aaron's sister Megan works in our community, he works.
City
Yeah, where she
manager's
works,
office.
yeah. But anyway, her dad, Ray, actually worked for us for many years, and he's here, and I want to recognize him because he retired, and he was a great employee, and we had some of the best conversations when he was working for us. So I appreciate all the service, that he provided us. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Ray. So welcome.
Okay.
Sure, I'll say something, why not? So I was going to congratulate the chief for not saying he poached all these guys.
But I did.
And then Councilman
I did
Sarowski
right away.
said it. Guys and gals, sorry about that. This is where I normally make my firefighter joke, because I'm a retired firefighter here in Sterling Heights. But these are experienced recruits, and they know how to use their guns, so I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to make any jokes tonight, but I think everybody's already said it. This is probably the last heaping of praise you guys are going to get for a while. But the one thing that is really true is that the people of this community love this police department. And as Councilman Radke said, you are going to be held to a very high standard, and I know you all meet that standard. This is a great city to work for. Like I said, I worked here 18 years. I just recently had a conversation with the chief. My first chief, when I worked for the fire department, drilled it into our heads that we are the ambassadors for this city. Somebody who, whether they live here or they don't live here, you may be the first contact that they've ever had with a city official in the city of Sterling Heights. I don't have to tell you guys this because you've done it, right? You've already represented other communities and organizations. It's incredibly important that everybody that you come in contact with leaves with a good impression. That was drilled into our heads. I know the chief and his team are gonna make sure that you guys live up to that standard. I keep saying guys, I apologize, ladies. You officers, and I just want to say congratulations. This is, as a former employee, this is a great job. And you're gonna, when your career is over, you're gonna be glad you made this move. So congratulations, everybody.
All right, I will say this. Typically, we have Mrs. Sarowski. She will typically address the new hires and maybe one or two other council members. But there's something about the five of you today that I think has really brought out a lot in our council. And so there's not much left for me to say to you guys sorry, Henry, you got it in my head now, you guys. But so there's not a whole lot left to say, but I do really like the symbolism of this, Chief. We've got Roseville, Dearborn, Lake Orion. So we're getting recruits from Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne. Then the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and the University of Michigan. So a little bit of a non-traditional, but a great group of hires. And we're really proud to have the five of you here. To Aaron, I don't know how you did it growing up. No, Megan is great, but she does give it to me as good as anybody, and I respect her a lot for that. She takes very good care of the city and city council members, and so another thing we heard a couple times today is family, and really from you folks more than us. I sort of lost track, but John Mark, you introduced your wife, and I think you said your daughter Ruby and son Remington, and Max, your wife Michelle, and I think Avery, you said. Danny, you're a little young to be having a wife and kids, but it's okay, that'll come. But you've got your parents and your family here, and that's amazing. Aaron, obviously you have a great family here too as well, and so Kelly, you too. So when I look out and there's lots of kids, there's lots of parents, there's lots of siblings, and so what I would like to do is take a couple seconds myself and address the family members who are here. Many of you probably know this because these are veteran police officers. They've been involved in law enforcement for a long time. They need you just as much as we in the city need them. This is a difficult job. This is a very difficult job. This is a stressful job. I don't need to tell you folks what kind of danger they're in, what kind of line of work that they are in. And so what I ask of you was when they come home at night, or when they come home in the middle of the night, or in the middle of the morning, or the afternoon, or whatever it is, hold them tight, tell them that you love them, tell them that you appreciate them. And the kids, you do that too for your mom and dads up here, because they're doing heroic work. And let's make no mistake about that. What they are doing really matters. It's protecting this city. It's protecting the people of this city, the visitors of this city. And this is truly honorable, good work that they're doing. And so I hope you will appreciate them for what they're doing and lift them up and hold them up because we need them. And we certainly appreciate it. As many of my colleagues have said, this is a city that really respects our police department. They're gonna let you do the work that you need to do. And so we appreciate you being here. We hope there's open lines of communication between you and us. If you need anything, we want to be there to support you. So with that, I'll let you dismiss them. Family, you guys can go out and take some pictures, celebrate, enjoy tonight. We hope that this is the last swearing-in ceremony you will ever have. And we're committed to doing everything we can to make sure that that is the reality. So God bless each and every one of you. Godspeed. Stay safe. Keep us safe. And Chief, that's that.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Guys, yeah, thank you.
Dismissed.
Cute little bug.
Okay, let's take 3 minutes, and we'll stand in recess for 3 minutes. Bring this meeting back to order. We will move on to the next item on our agenda now, which is an ordinance introduction, and this is to consider introduction of the First Amendment to the Appropriations Ordinance. For the 2023-2024 fiscal year, we have a presentation from our Finance and Budget Director, Jennifer Varney. Ms. Varney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Vanderpool, and Mr. Koszubski. I'm here again tonight to introduce the first amendments to the Appropriations Ordinance. As I'm sure you remember that we normally amend the budget twice a year, once in December and once towards the end of the year. This amendment primarily is carrying forward unspent funding from last year's budget, as well as incorporating grant funding and things that City Council has approved since the budget was adopted. So in the amended budget, the general fund expenditures increased about 0.7% or about $900,000. And the main increases are, again, reappropriated expenditures from last year of about $320,000. Grant funded expenditures, including sobriety court funding and firefighter physicals. And in addition, we have added the assistant fire chief position is also included, and an additional police officer position, which is backfilling the position that was transferred to the DEA task force. And this officer position is partially grant funded for 3 years. General fund revenues increased by about 0.5% or $640,000. We have grant revenue of about $350,000. We also received about $220,000 more in the property tax reimbursement than was estimated. So the net result of these changes is actually a use of fund balance of about $260,000, but keep in mind $320,000 is expenditures that was approved last year and is being carried forward. And in a preview of the audit presentation, you'll see next council meeting, we actually contributed about $1.6 million more to general fund balance in 23 than was in the amended budget. So we're still have a very healthy general fund balance at $35 million or just under 28% of expenditures. And other city funds are being adjusted by about $47 million in total. $23.7 million is carried forward of unspent road project funds. Carrying forward unspent capital project funds is about $7 million. And $12.8 million is to formally appropriate the remaining ARPA expenditures. Now, we had been budgeting ARPA expenditures as the projects were brought to council. But state revenue sharing this year has a 1% allocation that requires that ARPA expenditures are obligated by the end of December of 23. You may remember that the federal requirement is obligated by December of 24. But in order to get this extra 1%, which is about $11,000, we have to appropriate the ARPA funds by the end of this year, so that's why we're including them in the budget, which doesn't mean we can't transfer the funds, change what we're budgeting. It's just getting them formally budgeted to receive that additional revenue sharing. Okay. So I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of update where we are on the ARPA projects. This is a summary of the ARPA road projects. You can see that the two major road projects are complete Plumbrook Road resurfacing and Ryan Road concrete repairs. An additional road project as part of the ITC corridor project is reconstructing Edison Court, and that has not started yet. The park projects here, we have, again, the ITC corridor multi-use path is in preliminary stages. As you know, ITC recently approved that project, and we're working on the plans for it. We still are working on land acquisition in the south end of the city and land acquisition at Riverland. The community garden is in the planning stages, as well as the Lakeside Island Bridge is also in planning stages. All of the neighborhood improvement projects are in process. Sidewalk gap funding is being used on Maple Lane, Mound Road, Clinton River, and M59. The tree inventory was completed last year, and the additional funding will be used in combination with the urban forestry grant that the city received, and that's for about a total of $1.4 million for reforestation. The household assistance programs have been very successful, and nearly all of these dollars have been spent. Again, we had the Rain Barrel program, the Home Improvement Assistance Program, the Household Assistance Program that provided $2,000 to needy households, and we also allocated some of those funds to a rental assistance program. In other projects that we have completed, we had premium pay to employees in the community town hall. We've also used some of these dollars to pay for grant consulting, which has paid amazing dividends in the grant dollars we've received. And we have about $2.5 million reserved for land purchases throughout the city, many of which are in progress, working on appraisals and things like that. So in summary, we were allocated $19.8 million from the federal government. We've earned about $600,000 in interest on those funds for a total of $20.4 million available. With this budget amendment, $20.2 million of that will be budgeted or appropriated, leaving a small amount of unallocated as well as future interest earnings yet to be received. With that, this is the first reading of this appropriations ordinance, which is scheduled for adoption at the December 19th meeting.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Varney. With that, I'll ask the audience if there's anyone who'd like to speak on this item. If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Arco.
resolved to introduce the First Amendment to the Appropriations Ordinance for the 2023-24 fiscal year. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I think it was explained to us very well, so I have no questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Arco. Council, anyone else? Notice, Mr. Radke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Briefly, through the chair, I guess, to Mr. Vanderpool, the land acquisition is part of the ARPA funds. Is that still part of the Southern Community Center program that we have, including the grant from the state? Or I guess, where does that project stand, I guess, is what my curiosity is right now.
Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Radke, we have two portions. One is the $1 million from ARPA, and then we also have $1 million grant from the state of Michigan. That is far more flexible. We were successful in getting the legislation changed to give us a little more latitude. You may recall the previous $1 million for recreational purposes in the south end was tied to a very specific site. And this gives us far more flexibility. So short answer to your question, we have a $2 million allocation for such purpose. However, you know, we're still looking at the appropriate site, various options in the south east quadrant, and trying to find the ideal project. But having that availability of funding certainly is a step in the right direction.
When does the money from the state have to be allocated?
Jennifer,
Mrs. Varney?
could respond.
The grant from the state, that I don't know off the top of my head. We just got it allocated in the last budget, though, so.
Reallocated, it was already
Yeah,
allocated.
right, reallocated. And like Mr. Vanderpool said, it was much more flexible, but we have been talking about it. We had another idea that fell through, so we're definitely working on finding something.
Through the chair to Mr. Vanderbilt, will we be discussing this at the strategic planning meeting in January?
It's not formally on the agenda, but of course there's time at strategic planning for council members to bring up any topics you'd like to discuss. So we certainly can. And we can, spend a little time researching where we're at with the time limitation. And also we might have some ideas to, update you on by then.
Well, I guess, since the council controls strategic planning, I would strongly suggest that we add it to the strategic planning meeting, because I know that we should, it's our strategic plan, not the city's strategic plan in such a sense. So I would like to see this get discussed there, because to me, this is the last project of the ARPA funds that really doesn't have direction. And I am, I guess, greatly concerned, especially after Warren Consolidated Schools kind of pulled out of the agreement that we had made with them. I feel very frustrated about this. I know the people in the south end of the city are frustrated about this. And I want to make sure that these funds are both allocated and that the project comes to fruition and is not an afterthought. So I would hope that we really come up with a good plan. And it's not, and we have, within the timeline that we have, because I don't want to be doing this last minute. And I don't feel like this is getting the attention it deserves. So that's what I'm concerned about this. Other than that, I'm totally fine with this budget. I think, we've created some new positions. We created a new deputy fire chief, another police officer position for the city. I have no problems with it, but I want to make sure that strategic planning is used to strategically plan. And I want to make sure that this project gets fulfilled. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could just interject, I'm not sure that I have clear direction on what you want added to the strategic planning agenda. Of course, it is city council's prerogative to add any items that you would like. We just need time to add them. If there's consensus to add it, I'm happy to do so. But others may have some ideas for agenda items to add to, or you can simply cover the topic under the general discussion, of which we obviously have time to provide you more information. Thank you.
Mrs. Varney?
Yeah. I just wanted to expand. So we had to file paperwork with the state for that appropriation, as well as the Lakeside reappropriation of $3 million. So we had to file the paperwork by the end of November with Representative Shannon's office. So we did do that, and then when we received the official grant award paperwork, that's when we'll know what the rules are as far as when we have to spend that money. So the truth is, right this minute, we don't have that paperwork, but we did file the paperwork required to receive the funding.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, one more thing. I guess I would ask without objection that this be added to the strategic planning agenda for January so that we can discuss this.
Well, that's fine, but what exactly?
At least a timeline for the project completion and options, I guess, because right now I don't see options.
Do you need more specific than that, Mr. Vanderpool? Is that enough?
I think that's sufficient, Mayor. I mean, we're happy to give an update on timeline. I can assure council that we meet regularly on the ARPA funding. There's other projects, as you saw too, we're trying to finish up. This is a high priority. We are trying to nail this down. We are not going to compromise our funding for this through ARPA. So we are very focused on this, but we'll be happy to get you an update at strategic planning.
Okay, council, any objection to that? Okay.
All I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else on this item? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Varney. Next up is the consent agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on any item on tonight's consent agenda? Not council?
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Konski.
move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up tonight is a consideration item. This is to consider a request to transfer ownership of a 2023 Class C liquor license with Sunday sales AM and PM and special purpose food permits from Brinker, Michigan Incorporated to Hibachi LLC with new SDM license and Sunday sales permit PM only and change location from 12800 Hall Road to 33425 and 33431 Van Dyke. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this? You guys can come on up. If you don't mind speaking at the podium, and you can adjust the mic to make sure we can pick it up.
I'll be the translator for.
Okay, perfect.
So I think there's a misunderstanding that he thinks that he's getting like some kind of paperwork from you guys tonight, and apparently that's not the case.
Well, I'm not sure what paperwork he's expecting. We're going to vote on this, and then I think the city clerk might be more help than we would.
Okay,
in order to determine what's going to happen next.
Right. So what do we need to, like, what's,
Was there any presentation you want to make? Is there anything you want to tell us about the operation? Is there anything you want to tell us before we vote? Because what we're doing tonight is we're considering whether to sort of grant approval for the transfer of this liquor license. Now, the liquor license may have already been transferred, I can't recall.
I believe so.
And so we're, what the state of Michigan has done to us is essentially, I'm not even sure how to explain it, but it's sort of like, it's sort of like when I'm at home and my kids are going to do whatever they're going to do, and I tell them, whether they have my approval or not, and they do it anyways. That's sort of what the state of Michigan has said here. So we're going to vote on this, and I'm fairly certain it's going to be a good vote, good outcome for you. So if you have anything you want to tell us about the operation, about the restaurant, now would be the time. You don't have to, but we have the backup information in our packet. We've reviewed all of that. If we have questions, the council is going to deliberate in a few minutes. Now is really your opportunity to present any information you want.
他说他要给你投票，这个投票都是会通过的，对不对？他就说你投票之前有没有什么想要跟他说的事情？
因为我们的那边嘛，有很多的就是聚会嘛，然后很多的客人就是说都喜欢喝杯红酒。之前的时候，就因为我们没有提供这个奖牌，然后就他们的家庭聚会啊，是朋友聚会啊，生日聚会啊这样子，然后就有一点遗憾。
Oh, he's just
What's his
just
name? So
one-
what's your name and what's his name, just to start us off?
His name is Gorong, and my name is Jaden, and he's just wanting to say that he's happy to like have the opportunity to obtain this liquor license. That's all he wants to say.
Well, good. We appreciate that. We're happy to have you too, sir. We're happy to have you, and we hope you are very successful here, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the getting's good.
Okay, then you guys can sit down. If we have any more questions, we'll call you back up, okay? And anyone else on this item? If not, council?
Mayor Taylor.
Mr. Schmidt.
Resolved that the request to transfer ownership of the 2023 Class C liquor license with Sunday sales, AM and PM, and special purpose foods permit from Brinker, Michigan Incorporated to Hibachi LLC with new SDM license and Sunday sale permit PM only, and change the location from 12800 Hall Road to 33425 and 33431 Van Dyke be considered for approval.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Schmidt?
Just a comment. I have actually been to your restaurant a few times for gatherings, celebrations in that back room, and I think this would be a tremendous addition to your business. And I know that you guys stay pretty busy over there, and we wish you even more success.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Council, anyone else? Mrs. Zarko.
You know what, I don't have a problem with this, but I think what the mayor was trying to explain, in the old days, we would approve these licenses, and then it would go to the state. So that attorneys can make more money. It goes to the state first now, and then comes to the city, and we actually don't approve these licenses. We just recognize the fact that they have been approved by the state. So if it's already been approved by the state, you're in good shape. There's, nothing else that you have to do. So good luck, and we're glad you're in Sterling Heights.
Council, anyone else? Yes, that was better said than I said it. You probably were left very confused by what I had to say. But no, it's a good operation, and we're happy to have you in business here in the city of Sterling Heights, and look forward to many years of continued success for you, okay? So without any further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, good luck, and we will see you soon. All right? Thank you so much. All right, next up is a consideration item. This is to consider nominations to the City of Sterling Heights Zoning Board of Appeals, the alternate member only. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this? If not, council?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolved to nominate Saif Youssef for consideration as an appointee to the Zoning Board of Appeals alternate member at the December 19th, 2023 regular city council meeting.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor Taylor, just very briefly, I just wanted to tell a little bit about SAFE. He's been in the city of Sterling Heights since he was 18. He's 36 now, so he's been here 18 years. He's already on one of our boards, but he would love to be more involved with the city. He owns 2 businesses that are running very successfully. He's actually one who's fixed my car, so he does a very good job. And the other one, he's opening up a Dairy Queen on 15 and I think it's Van Dyke. So he's, for a 36-year young person, he is already doing very well and wants to become more involved with the city. What's important to note is that he is a Chaldean businessman, and our Chaldean population is not very well represented in our boards, especially the business people that run a lot of businesses. So I think that this is important to start giving them a seat at the table, and this is a good opportunity, I think, to do that. So nothing further, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Mr. Radke.
I just wanted to second Mrs. Sarowski. I've known Safe for several years now. He's an exceptional individual, self-made. I think he'd bring important Chaldean representation to some of our boards. We estimate that a quarter of our city or more is Chaldean. I think he'll do a great job. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is an appointment to the City of Sterling Heights Youth Advisory Board. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we have one opening. This is a council appointment to a term ending June 30, 2024. Is there anyone who'd like to make an appointment?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Resolve to appoint Claudia Brankonicki to the Youth Advisory Board to a term ending June 30th, 2024, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that concludes that portion of our agenda. We will move on to communications from citizens. Is there anyone who'd like to speak tonight? Mr. Nelson?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just want to inform Sterling Heights residents that the council meeting of December 19th, a public hearing will be held to undoubtedly approve a so-called planned unit development just west of Shaner and on the south side of 15 Mile Road with 64 two-bedroom apartments, 5 buildings, 2 strip malls, and 2 standalone restaurants. Reminder for those who are interested or have been interested in the 250 apartment units trying to be developed at Brome and Van Dyke, that it is, as far as I know, scheduled for the Planning Commission's January meeting. Developments approved previously, apartment developments approved recently, or previously at 14 Mile and Mound, Ryan south of 15 Mile, Viceroy and 15 Mile have not started yet. The apartment development on North Van Dyke, north of Riverland, is cruising along. One more thing, for those of you that had an issue about a privacy issue with the city purchasing an automatic license plate reader, the consent agenda, item H, approves the purchase of that particular agreement and camera system for a total cost of $287,500. Look to see all the interested people there on December 19th. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nelson. You got to bring that up during consent agenda. I gave you a little leeway, though. I gave you a little leeway.
It's future meeting.
Oh, future meeting.
Yeah, I just realized.
Future meeting.
Next meeting.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Going once, twice. Okay, we'll move on and go to reports from city administration. Mr. Vanderpool.
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right, Mr. Koszybski, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right, and council, anything tonight?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Yanis.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I did receive an email from a citizen who wrote to me in regards to the settlement at the Great Lakes Water Authority in regards to the money that was being helped to support Highland Park. And now that that's been settled, there is $55 million worth of credits. She did not know how those credits are allocated or how they work. I certainly don't know. So through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, I wonder if you could tell us exactly how the city of Sterling Heights is impacted by those credits.
Mr. Vanderpool?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Yanes, I'd be happy to provide you the update that the Macomb Public Works Office provided, and I'll be happy to include that in your packet on Thursday. And if you have the email of the resident, be happy to respond to that as well. Beyond that, our Finance and Budget Director is here this evening. She may be able to give you some preliminary information. If not, we'll certainly include it in your Thursday material.
That would be sufficient. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
You're fine. Oh,
You got something?
go ahead.
All I can really say is in the next month or two, I should be receiving our rates for next year from the Great Lakes Water Authority, and I expect it to be reflected in that. So when I receive those, I would have better information on how it impacted our rates.
So
They did mention at a meeting I was at, about the credits. But like I said, sometime in January, we usually get our rates and it'll detail, how they were calculated, and I could answer that question better at that time.
Yeah, because I think what she's looking for, and I'm pretty sure she's watching tonight, is, I think what she was looking for is, are those credits going to help offset individual homeowners' bills?
I mean, what I expect is it will reduce whatever rate increase we're going to get from the Great Lakes Water Authority, and that rate, however the rates are set at Great Lakes Water Authority is used to calculate rates to Sterling Heights residents. So yes is the answer, but I would expect that it's going to reduce a rate increase, not result in a rate decrease, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And Mr. Vanderpool, I'll forward this email to you, and any other information you can pass along, I would greatly appreciate it. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up this evening is, we received an email today from Melanie Davis in regards to our scoring from the Human Resource Council. They do
Human Rights Council.
Human rights.
Human Rights Council. They do a municipal equality index, which we scored a 99 out of 100.
I'm wrong.
I wanted to bring that up because I remember it was a couple years ago. We had a very low score. I was trying to find what that score was.
It's in the 30s.
It was very low.
Told you it was in the
Yeah,
30s,
it was,
Henry.
okay, it was in the 30s, yes.
Well, I remember when it was below 10.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do too.
9. At one time it was 9.
I do remember
I remember
9.
9.
But the reason why I want to bring this up is look, I appreciate the fact that that low number really jarred this council into action. I want to let the city manager know that he should congratulate his team. The plan and the program that was put together here, and it's still ongoing, got us to that 99 out of 100. It tells everybody that Sterling Heights is a safe and accepting and a welcoming place to not only live, but also work. A lot of people did a lot of hard work in order to get to that 99 out of 100. And I just want to express my deepest gratitude to everybody involved, our directors, the employees, this council, the citizens who supported these issues. This is outstanding. I will admit that I kind of threw the gauntlet down to our friends down in Warren because they had a 56 and we had a 99. And they are accepting the challenge. And so, we're going to see this, hopefully regionally, we're going to see this growth of more acceptance and more welcoming communities. So I just want to say congratulations to everybody here in the city of Sterling Heights. Again, all our employees, they did a great job, put together a great program. And I know that maybe next year we'll even hit Mr. Radke pointed out, we could have hit 100. And so maybe next year we'll hit 100, which is frankly very rare. There's only, I think, 4 communities in the state that have hit the 100 mark. But, you know, this is something that we really need to hang our hat on, and I'm very proud of our city and and everybody involved. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Yanis. Anybody else?
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you very much, Mayor Taylor. So this past Saturday, we had our Sterling Christmas, and it was very, very, very well attended. It was a little cool, but it wasn't snowing, which was, to me, a disappointment because I love snow. But it was beautiful, and there were so many residents. We had increased our events and things for the kids, and I just want to thank the residents for coming out. And it was wonderful to see you all, and it was a beautiful event, and so thank you all for coming, because it's our kickoff. Santa, of course, was there to help us kick it off, but it was our kickoff for the holiday event, and it was wonderful. And again, I just wanted to congratulate our new officers who are here, and starting off, it was those residents who may not have seen the beginning of this and maybe seen the end of our meeting tonight, just again to congratulate them and to wish them well. And that's pretty much all I have, Mayor, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski.
Mayor
Mrs.
Taylor,
Schmidt.
I just briefly, I want to make mention that I've already been contacted about the sidewalk gap on Maple Lane that we completed. People from Warren are excited about being able to ride their bikes to Dodge Park. So it's, you know, it's amazing how something that is semi-small impacts the surrounding communities to bring other people together to enjoy us. So that's it.
Enjoy our park.
Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. A couple of things. One, there's been discussion about federal funding, or I should say state funding, for sound walls when you have residents that abut freeways. If we could pay attention to this and see if in the future there would be any funding for the homes that abut the Van Dyke Expressway, because there are residents there that have approached me in the past saying that it would really be nice if there was some kind of sound wall in their backyards. So if the funding becomes available, I'd like, you know, for us to see if we could get some of it so that we could put those sound walls up. And the other thing is, we've been talking about boards and commissions, and I really think we have to do some kind of board and commission fair. And we need to get out there and not ask people just to go to a website and find something, that we actually have to have some kind of communication where we're talking about what our boards and commissions do, because we're looking for people that have an interest. And it doesn't necessarily have to have the experience in that particular field, because maybe that's what we need, is an outsider's perspective as to how things should be done on that particular commission. So if we could think about that, and it doesn't even have to be done separately. It could take place at what we're already doing. It could be at the Cultural Exchange. It could be at Sterling Fest. But if there's some way that we can communicate with the residents the importance of these commissions so that we can get a good list. Because as we looked at the list today for the zoning Board of Appeals, there were a couple of applicants that are actually on the Planning Commission, which disqualifies them from being on the zoning board. So it even limits the choices that we have there. So if we could think about, I think it's really important that we start recruiting people for these positions.
Right.
And nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Zarko. Mr. Radke.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with Councilwoman Zarko on the boards and commissions. You know, our list has become shorter and shorter. You know, it's disheartening to see. You know, I think we need more female applicants and more minority applicants. And I know that we had put a solution in place or had moved forward to try to correct this. I know that we've had trouble filling the job. People keep leaving, and it's not really gotten off the ground. So I think we need to really dig deep, in strategic planning or wherever, and really think about this and make sure that we're getting those quality applicants. We have so many city events. Why can't we have someone at these events really just trying to Shanghai people? Because I know that we need more people for those boards and commissions, so I couldn't agree more. I also wanted to speak to the Municipal Equality Index. I know I think it was last Thursday when it came out, or last Friday, I called the city manager and I commended him and his directors group, because When I first got on council here, our score was very pitiful. And it's really through a lot of effort. And also, we were doing a lot of this stuff before, but really showing the committee what we were doing, because we had liaisons and things, but they weren't really well-known. And I think a lot of it was just presenting our work or showing our work. And we got the score up to 99, but it should have been 100, because I read the application, and it said on the application, you get 1 point if you have an elected or appointed official who is LGBTQ. And we do have those folks over at the Community Alliance. So we should have had 100 points. I don't think we can correct the score for this year, but
No.
next year we should have 100. And I'm very proud of the work that they've done over there. It's tremendous work, and it shows that we are an inclusive, welcoming community for everyone, and it's all of our hard work. So I appreciate that. I also wanted to briefly talk about our tree program. I know that I drove down Plumbrook today, and I was so impressed by both the sidewalk gap completion on it and the new trees that are planted. I think Plumbrook's going to be a totally different street in just a few years as those trees mature. But I know that we had previously talked at strategic planning about possibilities to put a tree in front of every home that's missing them. And we lost a tremendous number, thousands, I think it's 15,000 trees, from the emerald ash borer and various diseases. And our city tree canopy was, I think, estimated at 19%. And the average for the area is much higher, and I think they say you need to be at like 27% to really have a lot of the benefits of our tree canopy. So I know that we had talked about implementing a program through either the federal government or the state grants to plant trees. And I guess through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, where do those programs stand, and where does our program stand to replant those trees?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Radke, this is an item that is on the agenda for strategic planning, but I will be happy to give you just a quick thumbnail update, because we will need a little more further direction from City Council on this. So you're correct. We did discuss this at a previous strategic planning. I don't recall if it was last year or the year prior. But in the meantime, we've been hard at work getting more grants to underwrite the total cost. You're correct. There's 15,000 trees that need to be planted to reforest neighborhoods. We removed 12,000 trees during the emerald ash borer disease. We essentially had to deforest our neighborhoods all across the city. And as a result, our tree canopy, you're correct, it's actually closer, 17%. It's woefully low, well below national standards for a community like ours. It should be closer to 40%. So that is a lofty goal, but 15% moves the needle significantly and gets everyone a tree in front of their house. So 15,000 trees costs about $6 million. We have $1.5 million in grant funding that we've been working hard on to get over the last year and a half. We think we've exhausted most of those grant ideas, so we're going to report back to City Council. We're down to a funding gap of about $4.5 million, which means we are able to underwrite the trees significantly, the 15,000 trees. So what it means is the residents who have to have a tree planted in front of their home, the cost would be approximately $300 to plant that tree in front of their home. Now, there'd be financing options and so on. The policy question for City Council will be, are there other ways we can underwrite that a little further to bring down the $300 cost? But again, this will be on strategic planning, so look forward to an update there as well.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Vanderpool. It's been a long-term priority of mine to retree the city, and I'm so excited that we've gotten so far. At strategic planning, are we going to also, like we've done in the past, invite our state reps or our federal legislators to attend? Because I thought that was a wonderful way to communicate with them, and they all showed up, which was tremendous.
Yeah, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Councilman Yen has brought this up, I think it was last year, and we had a really good turnout from our state legislators, and I appreciated that idea. We have once again, in fact, the invite will be going out this week. We're inviting not only our state legislators, our county representatives, our federal representatives. In addition, we're inviting all of our boards and commissions to strategic planning this year. Because, as someone mentioned earlier, they're ambassadors for the city as well. They need to know what the city council has in mind for the next few years at strategic planning. And we have some really interesting presentations planned. One from Peter Kageyama for the Love of Cities, and a couple of other really interesting presentations that I think a much larger audience is going to enjoy seeing. But short answer to your question, yes, they're reinvited.
I have to say, Mr. Vanderpool, I'm going to be very impressed, because I thought last year when they all showed up and we had an ability to really interface with them, it really seemed to advance some of our goals. And I know that when I spoke with the gentleman from Senator Peters' office, he was frankly shocked. He said, I've never seen a city do anything like this. Invite us here and kind of tell us what you need. And really, I don't think we put him on the spot, but we kind of told him this is what we're looking for. And I thought that it got rid of a lot of advancement, especially on our lakeside priorities, from our state legislators especially. So I think it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking very forward to strategic planning. I wanted to change something and echo Mayor Pro Tem Sarowski. I thought the Sterling Christmas was excellent this year. The crowds get bigger and bigger every year. It's a tremendous event, and if you haven't come to the tree lighting, I urge you to come next year, because to see the whole community together to welcome Santa Claus to our town, I think is just a tremendous family-friendly event. And with that, I guess that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Konski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, we did a resolution in support of the Ground Emergency Medical Transport Program in Michigan, and I would like to ask the city manager to keep us updated on how that is progressing, if he would, on our weekly briefs. Also, back to candidates for boards and commissions. Didn't we have a person assigned to monitor that? We bought software so that it would be easier to update. What happened there? Do we still have that person, or do we need to get a new one?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Koski, all the initiatives set forth for our boards and commissions are underway with one exception. So let me back up. We have bought the new software. We've reorganized. It's more seamless. There's better communication with the liaisons. I think the reporting to city council is much improved compared to the old days. It's all about continuous improvement, though. The one item that we haven't completed yet is filling the budgeted position. We're still working on that, and in fact, we have an update there, but we'll be discussing some of this. I have some briefing meetings with city council coming up, one-on-one meetings, and this is one of the topics we'll be discussing.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Koski. I want to thank everybody for participating tonight. I was not able to be at Sterling Christmas on Saturday, and I think it's the first Sterling Christmas I've missed since being elected, but if Sterling Heights is our home, and it certainly is, New Orleans is kind of my second favorite city in the world, and the Detroit Lions just happened to be playing the New Orleans Saints this past weekend, and so I had planned that many, many months ago when the schedule came out, and so unfortunately I was not at Sterling Christmas, but I understand Mrs. Sarowski filled in admirably in my absence, and I want to thank her for allowing my daughter, an 8th grader at Bemis Junior High, 13 years old, to address the crowd. And from the video I saw, I got to say, I was not missed there. So,
She did a wonderful job.
and to give credit where credit's due, it was Joe Romano who texted me and said she did a good job. Nobody missed you. And so, if you know Joe, you know that that's something that he would definitely say. So I thank you, Joe, for sending me that. That was really actually a proud moment for me. And thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. And
You're welcome.
I'm glad to hear that it went off well and everybody had a good time. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.